Hello and welcome back to school. Welcome to grade 11. I'm going to be your English teacher. I'm teacher Jack. I'm English from London, where terrible things are happening. I know you're wondering, how can things possibly get any worse after grade 10? So to make that point for you, I've given you a list of the 5 most important things to know about teacher Jack so that we can really illustrate the point of how much worse things are going to get.
Great. That's great.
I don't know who you had in grade 10. I don't know if all of my students had the same teacher in grade 10 or not. But I've given you a little, I made a little introduction video so that you can see a little bit more about me, who I am, and what's really important to know about me so that you can move forwards and get the most out of my class for the minimum amount of effort. And when I say the minimum amount of effort, I'm talking about my effort, not your effort. So here are the 5 important things to know about teacher Jack. Pay attention, there will be a quiz. There won't be a quiz.
Well, obviously...
Number 1, teacher Jack is a teacher. I mean, I know that should be self-evident, but you've been at this school long enough to know that it isn't. I've been teaching English here for about 10 years. I began working at Western International School about a decade ago in grade 4. When I first got here, I was doing 4. I've also taught grade 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. And I even did a brief period at another school where I worked in kindergarten. But I decided that I enjoyed teaching students who didn't regularly soil themselves during my class. In that respect, grade 11 is a little better. Not always by much, but it's an improvement slightly on that. I never planned to be a teacher when I first arrived here because I actually hate children.
I hate them.
But I arrived in the country and I didn't know what exactly it was that I wanted to do. My flatmate, Dead Mike, was offered a position at this school, teaching grade 3 and 4. He was asked if he knew anyone else who would make a good teacher, and he suggested me. I was asked to come in for an interview straight away. I was actually working at the time and I was pretty dirty, but they said, no, it's not a problem and it's an emergency, please get in as quick as you can. So I came in and I apologized for the fact that I was wearing an old t-shirt with dirt on it. And they didn't seem to care. I arrived as quickly as I could, and my entire interview consisted of one man telling me that he liked my accent and then asking me if I could start tomorrow morning. I tried to explain that I'd never done any teaching before, but he said it'd be fine. It wasn't fine. So I did grade 4 for about 2 years before trying some other schools and some other grades, feeling my way around, seeing what else there was. See, I never intended to stay here in this country.
No, sir, something went wrong.
I had no long-term plans when I first arrived, but I knew the longer I taught, the more I enjoyed it. So I came back to Western and was asked to teach grade 10. I wasn't thrilled at the prospect at first. I was a little bit dubious, but I thought I'd give it a try, and it turned out I way preferred it. Due to several personal tragedies in my life, I'm still doing the same job today, essentially. We'll go into the tragedies later. Teaching for me has become a bit of a passion. I really do believe in education. I understand the true value of building a solid foundation from which to follow your dreams. I really, really believe in education. I know how important it is. I've been doing it long enough to be able to see the difference it does or doesn't make, depending on how seriously you take this. It is up to you. Now, I know a lot of teachers believe no man left behind. That's a very liberal teaching perspective, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've tried it. None of those things work. So my focus is going to be on the students who do want to learn. They're the ones I can help the most. The ones who don't, the ones who think this is funny, you're going to fall further and further behind. And I'm not going to put myself out to help you. I'm here to offer the best service and education I can possibly give, but it's up to you to take what I'm giving you. There's an old English phrase, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I very much buy into that. I'm here looking for the students who want to learn, and I'll be making sure that I don't let them down. Okay? Number 2.
Why the hell are you here?
Jack is a writer. This is true. I've been writing since I was old enough to read. I came from a generation before smartphones. I don't know why they're called smartphones, because there is nothing smart about someone playing with their phone.
Are you calling me stupid?
I actually had a half Russian student 2 years ago who emailed me this weekend and said, you were right, playing games is not a hobby, and I've just realized that I've been wasting my life. You'll see what I mean, because we'll be talking about this a lot for the next year, so you'll see what I'm talking about. Phones are a waste of time. They're designed to be a waste of time. I don't like them, and I would rather not see them in my class. We'll get to that when we establish the rules.
Good luck with that.
So I grew up not using phones, not using technology, because there wasn't any when I was a kid. I mean, I'm not talking about the Stone Age or anything like that, but we didn't have phones, we didn't have the internet. That came much later. I was already in my 20s when the internet became available. Luckily, my father was a computer engineer, so he worked for a company that gave him free technology, so he would bring home the latest computers and laptops. So I always grew up with technology, but it just wasn't available when I was a kid. I developed a passion for books, and I grew up ruining my eyes reading books. I mean, I was from the generation that, you know, we ended up wearing glasses because we read too much. I developed a real passion for it, and I decided I wanted to be an author. I did not know how awful being an author actually is, and if my son ever wants to follow in my path and be a writer as well, I will beat the stupidity out of him with a sharp stick.
It's the only way.
I've written for years, on and off. I've had several books published by professional publishers. I've had a best-selling novel out, and now I've gone in a different direction. I've written 14 complete novels, give or take a few that I don't think are up to my current standard. I work with another author, Seth. We have a website where my books are available for free. My personal favorite genre is science fiction, and I work with Seth to write these kind of books. We've written several. We've got The Edge, which is a far distant literary sci-fi space opera.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Set far in the future on the frontier of known space. It poses a question philosophically about what it means to be conscious. We like to go into philosophical questions.
Oh, gee, that sounds terrible.
We've done the Hawkeye series, that's a trilogy, an 80s inspired contemporary sci-fi drama comedy about a man whose brain needs charging every 8 hours from a standard electrical outlet. And Blips, a book that poses the ancient philosophical question of whether the entire universe could be destroyed by a discarded banana. Spoilers, it can.
What's happening right now?
We also write horror, drama, comedy, and we've got some non-fiction books about writing, how to write novels. We also do poetry, and we're working on a self-help book that's intended to help people achieve their dreams of being worthless and successfully giving up on life. I don't think anyone's covered that before, but you know, lots of people want that. As well as books, we write short stories and writing articles. We do glossaries, we do explanations, all sorts of things about writing and creating. We've got the Wokepedia, which explains all the woke terminology. That is our most hated article. We got a lot of death threats from that one.
Nice.
As well as books, we write short articles. We've written for magazines. I've done government department papers, and we write for other websites as well. So we're professional writers. My co-author, he's a full-time writer. He writes for a software company. I can't tell you which one. He lives out in Tokyo. We were at school together. So basically what all this means to you is that you'll be getting a lot of reading assignments, lots of spelling, grammar and vocabulary tests, and you'll slowly learn to hate your life from this class with unbridled passion.
I'm way ahead of you.
Number 3, and possibly more important, these are not in any specific order.
This is only getting worse.
3, Jack loves motorcycles. It's been said before that you'll probably learn more about motorcycles in my class than you will about English grammar. that's probably true. I'm the sort of teacher that comes into class, and if I've got a miserable look on my face, walk up to the front, tell everyone to shut up, and say, right, you know, this is a grammar lesson. I don't like it, you don't like it, let's just get this over and done with. And that's how grammar is. I don't like grammar. You don't like grammar. You don't like school. I do like school. So I love motorcycles. You see, I'm not a huge fan of people. Mostly people just kind of annoy me, and motorcycles don't. They're cool, they're fun, and they're logical. I like that if you meet a person, they don't make any sense. But if you meet a motorcycle, it's just a logical machine, you know, and if there's a problem with it, it's a problem you can fix or puzzle out logically. You can't do that with people. I know this from years and years of experience. I don't know how many I've owned, but it's a lot. It's probably somewhere around the 400 to 500 mark.
What?
At one point in Cambodia, I had 25, but I'm now down to just 5. I have a Honda Shadow 750. It's a big cruiser style American motorcycle. A friend gave me that. He left the country. It sat in a car park for a long, long time, got old, and he said, do you want it? Because I'm not coming back, I can't rescue it. So I took that. I've cut it down, modified it. I've chopped off all the fat because it was a bit lardy. It's currently being painted and repaired. It's a big noisy thing that cost me tons of money, and it doesn't really do anything properly. Kind of reminds me of my ex-wife, if I'm honest.
Good one.
I also have a 1000cc Honda Varadero. That's a project. And what a project means is that it was once, well, it looked like it was owned by an idiot. And that's because I bought it last month from an idiot. So I'm going to strip that down and rebuild it properly, removing all the old stupidity out of the bike and then adding all new fresh stupidity of my own. That's going to be a fun bike. It's a big powerful engine, it's slightly off-road capable, so I'm going to make that my own. I've got 2 scooters, I don't really care about those, and Bella. Bella's very, very special. She is the best bike in the whole entire world.
I kind of doubt that.
Bar none. She's a BMW G650X, and she's a very important motorcycle that we love very much. I came to Cambodia about 10 years ago on Bella. The BMW. I rode her out from London, and I crossed through 23 countries, including 5 different war zones. I spent a month touring Europe, and then I went out from London again and spent another month crossing out through the Middle East and then into Asia. I ended up in Phnom Penh when my bike finally ran out of petrol.
Really?
Really?
That's pretty hard to believe.
Number 4, I'm married with a son and a lump. I have a son, James, who is 5 years old. He's, well, things didn't really work out with his mother because she went a little bit,
Crazy.
you know. He lives with me full time and is as annoying as covering your head with jam and then sticking it in a bucket full of fire ants. His favorite thing is Spider-Man and annoying me. I married a girl about 2 years ago, so I am married to a Cambodian girl, and unfortunately we're having another baby. She tells me I'm very happy about it because, oh yes, I can't wait to have another screaming child running around my house.
You should have thought of that.
Do you see now why I love motorcycles so much? Number 5.
As in, I really need coffee.
Now, number 5, more observant of you, I have a significant problem with coffee. I love coffee. I drink too much of it. I don't function in the morning without coffee, and I don't function terribly well in the afternoon, even after drinking a bucket full of it. So I think it's safe to say that I don't function very well, and I like coffee, and we'll just leave it at that. Most of my books focus on coffee one way or another, and a great deal of my wages get spent on the stuff. If you can't find me in school, I will probably be in a coffee shop injecting it directly into my veins. It's not an apology. I'm not apologizing for liking coffee. It's an explanation, because I want you to understand that if you get me in class one day and I'm grumpy and I set you a horrible assignment, it's probably because I haven't had enough coffee. You'll learn to deal with it, or you won't. I don't care.
You are a terrible person.
So that's basically me. They're the 5 points that you'll come to hate about me most. I do believe in education. Seriously, I really believe in what we do here. I've seen how important it is. I've seen what happens if you don't get where you need to be. I don't know what's going to happen going forward. None of us do at the moment. We're all wondering how long we're going to be teaching online for. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen if we come back to school. I'm quite lucky that I have equipment. I've got a couple of HD cameras. I've got mics. I've got mobile mics because I do a vlog. I do podcasts. As a writer, I'm on YouTube a lot. So I have all the equipment. I have an artificial intelligence computer that we built out of old broken laptops. She doesn't work very well.
Why are you still alive?
See, and you know, I've got the equipment we need so I can carry on doing this at home, but that's not ideal. At the moment, we're going to be teaching in school, so this is probably the last video for a while I'll be able to shoot in my house. But none of us know what's going to go forwards. What I will say is, this is a horrible situation. There's an awful lot of misinformation out there and just outright lack of understanding of what's going on. You've probably had a number of teachers that you feel have let you down over the last couple of years. You probably feel like you've been shortchanged, cheated out of your education, and I utterly, completely sympathize. But there is a point where we need to adapt. We need to adapt to, and I hate to use this, but there is a new normal. Things are changing all around the world, and unfortunately this situation has come at the worst possible time, and your generation is getting the worst end of it.
It's so unfair.
There is nothing we can do about this. You are suffering. You really are, and there's no way around this. Your education is not where it should have been, not where the teachers wanted it to be. The school doesn't want to put you in this position, but we have no choice. So the education that you get has never been more precarious, and it's down to you to make the absolute most of what we can offer you. I can't come to your house and force you to do the assignments. I can't make you do the reading. I can't push you any further than I'm able to. I have to rely on you to do your bit. And it sucks, and I do appreciate that it does, but your education is your responsibility. This sucks. We're here to give you the material. Doing the assignments is down to you, and there is nothing we can do to push you any further at this point until we get back into class. And when we do get back into class, I understand that the situation has been going on for such a long time that it's going to be very difficult for you to make the leap to the new normal again. So you have to be very flexible, and I know this is difficult, and I know it's not fair. One of the rules in my class is life isn't fair. It was never fair. I don't know where the idea that life is fair ever came from. Nobody will tell you life is fair. No adult will ever say, oh yeah, life's been fair to me. It really isn't, and it never will be.
So unfair. So unfair.
You have to make the most of it, and at the moment, you're teenagers, and it's a rough time, but you've got to make the most of this. Education is what you make it, unfortunately, and it's going to be even worse in the future, I think, so we'll see. So in my classes, I'll do my best to give you the material. I don't know what's going to happen over the course of this week or next week, getting us started. I don't know if you've got your books. We're using the Step Ahead 4 to 5. From next week, we'll be looking at the book and we'll be doing the assignments. If we're still online, I'll take photographs and post them into Google Class so that at least you've got the reading material to look at. as far as I can to do that. I don't guess a lot of you will have the books for a while because of the situation at the moment. We'll try and make the most of this. We'll try and get this working as best we can. The book is not terribly great. We'll go through the book properly in tomorrow's class. We'll do an induction of what you can expect from the book. Now for the rest of today, all I've got, if you go to Google Class, there's a question. Now I've told you 5 points about me. I want you to tell me 5 points about you, and then I'm going to read through them and we'll have a discussion. Now in this class, I will be checking attendance. I will be making sure you're here. After the first few minutes of the class, I will put a question there for you to answer to let me know that you're here. It won't all be launched out at the beginning of the class because I know some of you Skype out. If you do, I'll just mark you absent. I'm not going to chase you. I'm not going to make you catch up. You're in grade 11 now and you have to be young adults. So I'm going to let you make your own mistakes.
No, that's too much responsibility.
Okay? So, I will try to be fair. One of the things you'll find out about me is that I'm very, very fair. If you don't do the work, my attitude towards you is going to be you'll fail, but I'm not going to allow you to stop the people that do want to learn from doing what they need to do. Okay? Education is a privilege, especially in this country. You're very privileged at being in this position, and I want to make sure that everybody that wants to gets the most out of this that they can. So, I'll help you to help yourselves. So go ahead, go to Google Classroom and do the assignment.